We are live. You are looking live from Sold Out Giants Stadium, where today the 15-0 New York Giants will be taking on the 0-15 Washington Redskins. Yep, we're going old school, Washington Redskins. And welcome to the Gridiron. And anybody out there watching me at this time of night, 11 o'clock on a Friday night, thank you for taking some time out there and checking me out. We're going to go about 30 minutes here. 30 minutes. Has got a few things to go over. One of the things is the blue-white game. But I wanted to go over, we got little injuries going on. You got the Giants had a little tackle help. Okay, they got Will Holden. It's kind of like Nate Metters, who they signed to give him some safety help, right? Because Dane Belton got the broken collarbone, so they went out to the open market and they got themselves Nate Metters, who, it's a safety. He's some depth. Okay. Will Holden, they went out and got him because Matt Gono, who I'm going to go over in just a few minutes here or so, looking unfortunately, sadly, like his career might be over. But hopefully they nipped it in the bud. They got it early, this, that, and the other thing. And hopefully Matt Gono, hopefully he can walk, right? He's not paralyzed. Hopefully nothing long-term or anything. Hopefully they got it early, and hopefully, wish him nothing but the best. I don't know, what he might wind up doing. But as far as I know, I've been reading, possibly his career could be over. But the Giants signed Will Holden. Okay. Let's see. The role of swing offensive tackle is not an exotic one, but is vitally important, obviously, on a roster, as any starter is one play away from going down. And the entire offensive line suffers if there is not a viable replacement. So I'm not exactly so sure if Will Holden is a viable replacement, but the Giants on Friday secured a new candidate for the swing tackle spot, signing veteran Will Holden. The move became a necessity when Matt Gono signed in the offseason to serve as the backup at both left and right tackle. On Wednesday, was placed on the exempt left squad list, dealing with a neck issue. In the corresponding roster move, third-year defensive end, who we're going to go over in a minute or two here, whatever, my man Nico Lalos from Dartmouth, the undrafted free agent, they had to waive him. Holden, 28, is much. He's like Nate Metters, okay, the safety we just signed. Holden, 28, is much traveled. And the Giants are his 9th NFL team since 2017. He was a 2017 fifth-round draft pick of the Cardinals out of Vanderbilt. He's played in 27 games with 9 starts for the Cardinals, Ravens, Colts, and Lions. A 6'7", 300-pound Holden has started 4 games at left tackle, 2 at right tackle, 1 at left guard, and 2 as an extra lineman. Right? So, is there some veteran experience? Yep. Does he have experience? Yes. That's about as far as I'm going to go, right? With Gono out of the picture, the Giants were using rookie Joshua Zudu, okay, as a backup at 4 different spots, everywhere on the offensive line except for center, okay? That's a good quality draft pick there for you. Let me tell you freaking what. I'm really happy we signed that. We drafted that guy. Holden, for now, relieves the pressure on Zudu, and he will back up Andrew Thomas on the left side and rookie Evan Neal on the right side. Now, it's also have to wait and see when Matt Parrott comes back, too. Okay. And then, of course, Lalos was a favorite of Joe Judge coaching staff, undrafted out of Dartmouth. He played in 6 games in 2020, spent the entire 2021 season on the practice squad. I'm going to go over him in a moment or so, a couple of minutes. But Will Holden, all right. Basically, what do we got? 2019, he has no snaps. Okay, what we're looking at, I'm looking at Pro Football Focus here, guys. 2017, he was with Arizona. 2018, he was with Arizona. 2020, he was with Baltimore and Indianapolis. 2021, he was with the Lions. The most snaps he's ever had in a season was 2017 with Arizona. Okay, according to Pro Football Focus, that's all I'm going by. I haven't checked out his his tape or watched his technique or not. I just go to Pro Football Focus, and whether you like Pro Football Focus or not, if Pro Football Focus grades the guy on a scale of 1 to 100, they grade him at like a 30. Okay, whether you agree with that or disagree, if they grade him out at a 30, he's not an All-Pro. All right, you can argue, well, he's a lot better. Well, he's not, you know what I mean? This gives me some kind of guideline, okay? Now, whether they're plus, if they grade him out at, say, a 50, all right, that means he's, not super spectacular, not super horrible. I mean, he might be plus or minus 10 either way. So maybe he might be a 60 or so, or he might be a 4, but he gives me a guideline to go by. That's all this is here, all right? And they give me different numbers. His overall offensive number, they give me his pass blocking number, and they give me his run blocking numbers. All right. I mean, that's fair. That's all I'm asking for. So in 2017, he graded out at a 55.6. His pass blocking grade was a 45.6. 2018, all right, his overall grade was a 45.7. His pass blocking grade was a 42.8. 2020, between the Colts and the Ravens, he graded out at 59.6, but he only played in 83 snaps. His pass block grade was at 54.4. Okay. His run blocking's not bad. He hasn't had a lot of run blocking, but the past two seasons, 2021, he graded at a 71.5 run blocking. In 2020, between the Colts and the Ravens, he graded out at a 70.8 run blocking. So his run blocking is, adequate. Okay. But we're going to be pretty much a passing team. Okay. So last year with Detroit, he played in a grand total of 71 snaps, graded out at 60.8. Okay. All right. His pass blocking grade, 28.9. All right. I'm sorry, 28.0. Horrible. His run block, 71.5. 71.5 is his run block grade. Very good. Okay. But his pass blocking, all right, 28. Pathetic. Absolutely. So, so don't expect much from him. I mean, if Neal goes down, they can put him in as an extra blocker. Okay. Which is, which they've done in the past. Other teams have done in the past. Okay. But if Andrew Thomas or Neal goes down, don't look for this guy to come in there and light the world on fire. Okay. So, but we got, we wound up getting some, we got some tackle help. Okay. There we go. We got my man, Nico Lalos. All right. So they waived him. All right. Because once again, he was undrafted out of Dartmouth in 2020. So he was a Joe Judge guy. All right. He was a favorite of Joe Judge. And that's the way it's just going to wind up being, for, a decent amount of guys. A lot of these guys who are from the previous regime. All right. If you came with the team, I said, unless you're Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley, Dexter Lawrence, Xavier McKinney, so on and so on. Okay. If you're a practice guy / maybe third stringer or something like which Nico Lalos is, your time is ticking. Okay. So his chances are that might be letting you go. And unfortunately for Nico, they let him go. Now, 2021, he was on the practice squad the whole time. Okay. But 2020, he played in, I'm going to look at Pro Football Focus here, 6 games. Okay. He was on his grand total of 73 snaps. Now, the thing I want to point out here, right, is that Pro Football Focus in his 73 snaps in 2020 graded out as 68.8. Okay. All right. So the 73 snaps, basically, that's he played all season long, right? Basically, 73 snaps, you can, that's about a game's worth. Okay. When the Giants are getting, rough-shotted by the Rams 38-11, the defense is on the field probably about, 73 snaps. When we're losing, 30, what was it, 37-7 to the Chargers last year at one point. Yeah, I'm going to be on the field for probably about 73 snaps. So he was on the field for about a full game, okay, in 2020. I'm sorry. Okay. So let me just go over some of these numbers here. What we got here? All right. So, and basically 73 snaps. okay, he had a grand total of 6 tackles. Okay, I'm looking at Pro Football Reference. All right, in his 2020 season, he had grand total. He had 2 solo tackles, 4 assisted tackles. So in a game, he had 6 tackles. Okay, that's not too bad. He also, in that game, he recovered a fumble. He had a pass defensed, and he had an interception. He also had 2 pressures, too. Let me see. How many? He had pass rush. He had 33 pass rushes, okay? And he got 2 pressures. What did he get? He just had 2 hurries, okay? No hits, no sacks. He had 2 hurries. So in 33 pass rushes, basically 1 out of every 16 pass rushes, he got a hurry. Nothing super spectacular there, okay? But what he did do in that game, I mean, I'll take this. You know what I mean? So hopefully for him, he latches on someplace, maybe lands on somebody else's practice squad. But in a game, he had a pass defense, right? 2 hurries, 6 tackles, recovered a fumble, and picked off a pass. So, you can say what you want. The guy made things happen a little bit, when he was on the field. So I just wish him the best. Certainly doesn't mean the Giants won't ever pick him back up again. Who knows? But, it's just one of those guys, undrafted out of Dartmouth, and, you just kind of pulling for him. But, as I said, I mean, the thing is that, if you're from the old regime, right, chances are, your time is ticking. I mean, they may not hold you too long. Now, if we go here to Nate Metters, all right, basically he's the same thing, okay? He's played in, I saw 3 games. Here in Pro Football Focus, he's played in 2 games, okay? In 2019, he played in 2 games, all right? He grand total of 11 snaps, okay, with the Minnesota Vikings, okay? Now he's with the Giants, right? He's been with Minnesota. Then he went to Jacksonville. He was on their practice squad. Eagles picked him up, was on their practice squad. The Browns got him, okay? They let him go. Now the Giants got him, right? So this is his 5th team since 2019, all right? So this is his 4th season, right? And he's 5 different teams. The one thing I do want to point out is that he was in the secondary with Darnay Holmes, okay? So Nate Metters, like the safety, Darnay Holmes, like a cornerback. But they're on the same team, okay? So, I mean, and Nate Metters, just going by PFF, his scores, his grades by PFF in college were not bad. His worst season, I'm not sure why, was his senior season. His score was like about a 66, if I remember correctly. But he had a couple years he graded out at an 80. So, I mean, he did well in college, okay? Now, obviously, doesn't mean because he did well in college, he's going to do well in the pros, okay? And as we've seen, he hasn't done that well in the pros. So, is he, is he just kind of holding the torch for Dane Belton once Dane Belton, is he just some added depth and he may not make the team? Quite possibly. Same thing with Will Holden. I mean, I don't know how long Will Holden's going to be here for or whatever. Might be here today and gone tomorrow. Who knows? But we added some depth. All right. And I said, I wish Nico Lalos nothing but the best. Then we got the blue-white game. All right. That was tonight at the stadium. All right. And there was some interesting things there going on. Okay. There were some touchdowns and some top plays from Friday's scrimmage. The Giants took the field at MetLife Stadium for the first time Friday night for FanFest. With less than a week to go before the first preseason game, because Thursday night we're strapping it up against those Patriots, the Giants are gearing up for the first competition against another squad. Daniel Jones spoke to reporters Friday afternoon ahead of Giants FanFest, presented by Wendy's. Okay. And it sounds as if the players are just as excited as the fans for the first game action of the season. Oh, I know. Well, everybody's pumped up, man. Everybody. I'm excited for those opportunities, said Jones. I think, like I've said, there's a lot we need to continue to work on and keep making progress. The preseason is an opportunity to do that, and a game situation gives you an opportunity to prepare for a game. Obviously, it's not the same level of game planning, but we will prepare for that and go out and try to execute in a live situation. I think that's a good opportunity for us, and I'm excited for it as well as our whole group. As part of FanFest at MetLife Stadium, the blue-white scrimmage gave the offense and defense a sample of game conditions. Here are some of the top plays from the evening. With all that said, here are some of the top plays from the blue-white scrimmage. Touchdowns. Facing a 4th and goal from the 1, Daniel Jones found rookie tight end Andre Miller in the end zone for a touchdown. On the next series, Tyrod Taylor led the offense down the field and connected with wide receiver Richie James on 4th and goal from the 5. Takeaways. After Darren Evans tipped a pass in the end zone, Yusuf Corker came down with the ball and returned it 60-plus yards to set up the offense on the other side of the field. Michael Jaquette punched the ball out of the receiver's hands on the 1-yard line. I don't know who the receiver is, but that's not good. Which was then picked up by Jared Wilson and returned the other way. Yeah, that's not good. Other top plays. Jones connected with rookie Wan'Dale Robinson for a huge gain on 3rd and long early in the scrimmage. If I'm not mistaken, I saw a highlight of that too. It looked like Jones had a couple. I don't remember. The view was kind of far away, but it was like ground level view. It was kind of tough to see exactly. I didn't pick out who the numbers were, but it looked like he had a couple edge rushers, coming down on him, and it looks like he could have been sacked. He had they kind of got to him or got by him, and they didn't touch him. Then Daniel Jones stepped up and hit Wan'Dale Robinson. So this was a live game. I don't know if he would have gotten that pass off. A few plays later, the young quarterback used his legs to gain 20 yards on a 4th and 2, setting the offense up in the red zone. Wide receiver Keelan Doss had a couple of catches during the scrimmage, including a big 29-yard reception from Davis Webb to set up the offense inside the red zone. Not bad. All right, then we got this one here. I got some information here from SB Nation. Giants training camp. They found good work for the Giants at FanFest and more takeaways. So we got the New York Giants ran through a practice filled with scrimmage-type situations during Friday evening's FanFest at MetLife Stadium. The stadium's lower bowl was fairly well occupied for the team's second FanFest in as many years. Got a lot of good work out there, said head coach Brian Daboll. A lot of good things. Tried to put the guys in a lot of different situations. Tried to make it as game-like as we could. I thought both sides competed well. Everything I see, see some good stuff for the offense, but there's also good stuff from the defense as well, too. So, it's all very well-rounded. Now, injury notes. Okay. Rookie guard Marcus McKeithen, the 5th rounder, was carted off the field during the scrimmage with an apparent right leg injury. Ugh. McKeithen was drafted in the 5th round. Daboll didn't have any information on the extent of McKeithen's injury. A number of teammates stopped by the cart before it drove away to offer well wishes to McKeithen. So, was he going to be an integral part of our offense or anything like that? No, but he's a 5th rounder. We want to get him some experience and all that. So I hope it's not season ending. The more time he can get on the field, more reps he can get, the better he'll be for himself, and not only that, but for the Giants going forward. So hopefully it's not season ending. Cornerback Adoree Jackson left the field near the end of the drive of nearly 20 plays. Daboll said Jackson just tightened up a little bit with a cramp. Wide receiver David Sills worked on the side Friday along with newly acquired defensive back Nate Metters. And then we got wide receiver Robert Foster, Ricky Seals-Jones, who seems to be MIA quite a bit. Cornerback Rodarius Williams not practicing again. This is the 6th straight missed practice for Seals-Jones, so not sure what's going on with him. Giants safety Xavier McKinney was asked Friday afternoon if he was looking forward to the FanFest, and he said, obviously. It'll be our first time everybody as a group out there in the stadium. It's going to be fun. Oh, yeah. There was a lot of people out there. A lot of people having fun. Coach was out there talking to the fans. He seems a lot more personable than Joe Judge. I mean, not the Joe Judge, but the jerk or anything. By no stretch of imagination. But it seems like Daboll's a little more fan-friendly. You know what I'm saying? Which is, right now is all cute, fine, and fancy and everything. Okay. But, if you start losing, Mr. Nice Guy is going to, it's only going to go so far. But I mean, as long as things are okay, I mean, seems like the fans seem to enjoy Dable quite a bit. After the event is what Dable said about the atmosphere. It was good to get the fans out there. Great support. It was a little different energy, a little bit more tired. Thought it was exactly what we needed in terms of tempo of practice, the amount of plays we had. And we have a quote of the day from Saquon Barkley. I don't just feel that for Daniel Jones. I feel that for the whole offense in general. Not saying it's pressure for me to do this and to do that. I know what I can be. I know what I'm capable of doing. If I'm able to go out there and do the things that I'm capable of doing, it's going to make life a lot easier, not only on Daniel, but I feel like on everyone. Saquon Barkley was asked on whether he feels urgency to help Daniel Jones after being hurt so much the past couple of years. Some of these reporters asked the weirdest questions. I mean, then we got the stats here. Okay, stats. Unofficial. This is from the Big Blue Review, SB Nation. Okay. These are entirely unofficial, but here are the stats that I have for the quarterbacks on Friday night. A handful of these plays may have been negated by penalties, but I'm including every throw I charted. Daniel Jones was 15 out of 26. Tyrod Taylor was 8 out of 13. Davis Webb was 7 out of 15. So that would be, 30 out of 54. So nothing super spectacular. Over 50%, thankfully. But 30 out of 54. All right. Jones had an uneven first session going 5 out of 12. Okay. So then he wound up going 5 out of 12 and throwing 2 balls that could have been intercepted. Adoree Jackson knocked a pass away from Kadarius Toney, and Tate Crowder dropped an interception on a throw intended for Saquon Barkley. So he started 5 for 12, but that meant that he finished 10 out of 14. So 10 out of 14, 70%. So I'll take that. I think 70%. So I'll certainly take that. So maybe it took him a little time to start warming up or whatever. Dable said that overall he felt the decision-making by all 3 quarterbacks was pretty good. In terms of Jones in particular, Dable said, I thought he operated well. Conditioning needed. The Giants' first teams were on the field for a pair of drives totaling 34 plays. Yeah, that's not easy. Dable said that those long drives were orchestrated intentionally. A little bit hot, a little bit humid. It's what we needed, Dable said. I thought it was a competitive practice. I thought the guys were a little bit more upbeat. It's natural. Fans out here, music going. Certainly there's a lot to improve on, I think. We're moving in the right direction, but we're a ways away. We have to improve our conditioning level, so this will help, okay? That's what we did those 2 long drives for. Everyone can get a feel for what they're at individually, but collectively, there'll be a point of emphasis this week. So, conditioning. Now, the one thing is that, with the preseason games coming on, I mean, a lot of times you're not going to have the first team out there all 4 quarters. You're not going to have the second string maybe out there all 4. You know what I mean? So it's tough to really get a good judge on your conditioning, when some of these preseason games. But you want to work on it, obviously, as much as you can, because once the first game of the season rolls around, when you're out there in Tennessee playing the Titans, you don't want to be out there all just dying in the 3rd and 4th quarter. So let's see here. We have to improve our conditional level. That's why we did those things, 2 long drives. Everyone can get a feel for where they are individually, right? But as mentioned previously, Adoree Jackson left before one of those drives ended with what Dable said was cramping. So, I mean, that's something that's kind of normal. Hopefully it's just cramping. All right. Live tackling. The Giants did spend a period of live tackling with the 3rd team offense and defense on the field. Dable said that was to help those players prepare for Thursday's preseason opener versus New England Patriots, since they were likely to play the bulk of the snaps. So, yeah, I mean, you're going to have, I guess, not exactly sure if you're going to have what? Maybe the offense play quarter, first string, maybe play the second or whatever, but because some of these guys, it's kind of tricky because you're trying to get the guys who are going to play some time out there so they can get some of the timing down, the conditioning down, and all that. But you also want to give the guys on the back end of the roster a good fair chance to see what they can do. Can they go out there and make a play, make a couple plays, make a name for, so maybe make the final 53. So it's always really tough with these preseason games. And the thing is the more and more they cutting down on the preseason games. When I first started watching football, there were 6 preseason games. That's obviously way too many. But 4 is not bad. But, 4 is, they can't have 17 games with 4 preseason games. So, I mean, but so you have that happy medium there. You got to get the guys on the back end of the roster, enough film. Can this guy play? Can we get this guy in the final 53? Do we want to cut him? Do we want to put him on practice squad? What do we want to do with him? Okay. But then also you got to get the first and second stringers time in there, to hopefully gel as a unit. So it's always kind of tough. Offensive line thoughts. Dable said that he thought the offensive line was gelling. They're coming together. You'll get the truest test of an evaluation from the offensive line in live reps where you can bring a quarterback down. So that'll be next Thursday. You can bring a running back down, Dable said, but I think the guys are communicating well. They're working together. Still got a long way to go, but I think they're moving in the right direction. So we got Kayvon Thibodeau. There you go. Making an impact. Number 5 overall pick has not made a ton of splashy plays so far in training camp, but it is pretty easy to see that he is hard for an offensive lineman to handle. How's that? Thibodeau has drawn numerous holding penalties thus far in training camp. Love it. Love it. Friday night, he drew one from rookie tackle Evan Neal, who's had some struggles. Has had some struggles, okay? He's a tough block, Dable said. He's done a good job these last few practices. He's got a variety of pass rush moves. Again, he's a rookie. Good young player. He's got a lot to work on. I hope he draws more of them. Oh, yeah. I mean, obviously you want to obviously get the the sacks, the sexy numbers. But tell you what, I'll take a 10-yard holding penalty. Right? Roster moves. The Giants added offensive tackle Will Holden on Friday and waived linebacker Nico Lalos. They also waived defensive back Jaron Williams from injured reserve. Okay. Holden, with only a few hours to digest the playbook, was taking third-team reps at right tackle Friday night. So good for him. I mean, it's not easy, man. But he's a veteran and all that. So, I mean, a lot of the, some of the stuff is the same. Some of the language might be a little bit different. So I'm sure he'll be able to pick it up. Then we've got some, what they call here, the quick hits plays. Kicker Graham Gono made a 30-yard field goal. Undrafted free agent safety Yusuf Corker intercepted a Davis Webb pass, grabbing a deflection by undrafted free agent cornerback Darren Evans in the end zone and returning it roughly 60 yards. Doss, this one here, dropped a pass from Webb that would have been a touchdown. But Doss had a catch on a deep ball from Webb. Wan'Dale Robinson caught a third down pass from Jones over the middle and turned it into a gain of roughly 32 yards. And he ran it. He caught it going across the middle. That's the one that Daniel Jones had to step up in the pocket. He had some pressure on him, and if it was a live game, he might have been sacked. But he stepped up in the pocket, hit Wan'Dale across the middle. Wan'Dale ran to the opposite sideline, ran out of bounds. Undrafted free agent tight end Andre Miller, aligned at fullback, caught a touchdown pass from Jones on 4th and 1. Colin Johnson, haven't heard a lot from him. Okay, had a catch of roughly 45 yards on a deep ball from Tyrod Taylor, nullified by a holding penalty. Leonard Williams was a force during the first team work, spending considerable time in the backfield. Yeah, hearing nothing. I mean, him and Dexter Lawrence. So look, hope those two guys, knock on wood, stay healthy. I mean, I'm not going to say look for big things, but look for a nice, good season from those two guys. If we can get a third guy, a defensive lineman, man, I'll tell you, we have a nice threesome there for sure. And unfortunately, the Giants' snapping woes continued as Garrett McGinn fired a snap well wide, not over the head, but wide of Webb at one point. Backup center remains a question mark. So, I mean, that's something the Giants, because the Giants don't have a true center signed on their roster for next year. So that's definitely something the Giants are going to have to look for next year. Okay. Whether in the draft, free agency, or they're going to, if Nick Gates comes back and they're going to make him the permanent, or whether they're going to slide Lemieux over there and make him the permanent center. But the Giants don't have a quote unquote, a full-time center or whatever on the roster for next year. So that's something we have to keep an eye on and see what they're going to do. And I got in the this is my first comment. It's my third time I've gone live. Okay, I had one person on. I guess it was maybe Alex Rinaldi, and he said, "Go Giants." So Alex, my man, you were the first person ever to leave a comment on this show. This is my third time going live. Tonight's what, Friday night? So Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night. I've been live all 3 nights. So you're the first person, Alex Rinaldi. Go Giants. Go Giants indeed. Well, guys, that's about 30 minutes in. I'm gonna sign off now. I'll be back again tomorrow night with whatever's got going on there. All right. Once again, guys, hey, anybody watching, anybody listening, anybody paying attention, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. You guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo!